All right, guys, we're back here on ACC 16, or however many teams they got in the conference. We're switching. We've swapped. We're heading to the ACC now. We got to let our friends at FanDuel know. Find sponsors over at FanDuel. You know what? We're out of here. We're heading to the ACC.
Tough night, Blake.
The ACC SEC Challenge, not off to a great start for the SEC. And yeah, we'll get into that. We knew yesterday when we started picking all those SEC teams, we knew it was bad news. Chris is waving the white flag in the chat right now. He sent this thing over. Oh, boy. But as Robert says, not a tough night for the Dogs. Unless, Robert, you got a 5-star quarterback that's flipped to the Vanderbilt Commodores, then it may be a bit of a tough night, but that made up for it. Georgia went in and walloped Florida State. We'll talk all about it. Vibes asking existential life questions. What have we become? We're going to have to get into all this philosophical stuff here in just a minute. Before we do, Game Time Sidekicks. Boy, I even brought the cup today. You don't even want to know what's in this thing. Hey, something's brewing in here.
Early.
Game Time Sidekicks, officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. Every SEC school. You may want the 350 more universities instead. We have kid there, but yeah, check it out. Stainless steel sippy cups, tumblers, 40-ounce bottles, shaker cups. They've got it all. Use our code SC16, 20% off over at GameTimeSidekicks.com. Sam says he'll pay $200 a month just to start baseball coverage. All right, Sam, there's the plan. Become a member, $200 a month. By the way, Sam, you got to get us your pick in today because we got to get our next review show up and running. And by the way, we'll give you the option too, Sam. You can let us pick 4 choices and we'll put it out for a poll. If you don't want to, you're like, hey, I don't have a strong opinion on one. We'll pick 4 choices. We'll put it to a poll, and that can be what we do. So, yeah, we got to get other legends rotating in for their show here soon. Oh, you already put it. Okay, I'll check it out. I didn't see it. I'll go look later. All right.
He's ahead of you. He's a step ahead of you, Blake.
He's always a step ahead, as I know. Well, the ACC is a step ahead of the SEC right now. Max, I've even got a sound effect for it. This sound you're about to hear could have multiple interpretations, but we're going to play it right now, and to me, this has described the ACC-SEC Challenge thus far. That sound you hear is somebody opening up a can, which, again, could mean multiple things, but right now the ACC is opening up a can on the SEC. So, let's take a look and start wherever we want to start. I think we're going to start with Florida and Duke. That at least maybe gave us a little hope coming out of it. Not sure the others. Many of the others did. But Duke 67, Florida 66.
Oof.
Sir Thomas Houck, still the best player on the planet. Not named Cam Boozer, perhaps. Tommy H. in this game goes for 24, had 6 rebounds. Played all 40 minutes in this game. Cam Boozer, 29 points, 10 of 21 from the floor. He was tremendous. I thought, though, Max, one of the biggest differences in this game for me was Ngangba. I mean, he was terrific. He had 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks. The guy just made a lot of big plays in this game, I thought. Now, I don't know why he's taking a 3 late in the game. I'll be honest with you. Not sure why he took that 3. But he was 2 of 3 from the floor, so he was feeling hot. But I didn't think it was the greatest shot selection. But, man, I think to see that game end the way that it did, Boogie Flan makes the big shot. All of a sudden, you're like, wait a second, are the Gators about to do this? And then, bang, Isaiah Evans, and then Florida comes down. Just a rough final possession there. Yeah. Hey, we said going in, we picked Duke. That was not a surprise, but I can't say that I'm that down on the Gators coming out of this because early on I thought this thing was going to be a runaway, but credit Florida, made a comeback, and really were right there with a chance to win. Probably feel like they should have won, but get beat by a point here at Cameron.
Big Gator EJ asks, have you ever seen a dead ball technical call in live action play? Well, I have never seen that, and I'm not sure Golden has ever seen that, and I'm going to play a real quick clip here. You can't really hear the question, so I just start you right off at Todd Golden's answer, but he's talking about the team's competitiveness and fight, and then he gets into the the dead ball technical called in live action play.
Our level of competitiveness is not a concern of mine ever. We have not been playing well enough, but we're competing hard. That's not something that's ever honestly crossed my mind with our team in terms of that. It's execution that's been our issue, and we have not been anywhere near as good enough that way. And I thought tonight we were good enough. Again, this isn't an MTE against a random high major team. We came into Cameron playing Duke, who's number 1 or 2 or 3, whatever they are in the country right now, with a really good club and a great coach. And again, we lost by a point. And I thought there were a lot of things that simply didn't go our way tonight that, maybe we caught another break, like when Tommy Houck drives for a layup and gets hammered, and then they go review it and bang us on a flagrant. Things like that are really tough to swallow in a game like this. And that was just one of 2 or 3 of them probably that we can look back on that were kind of very questionable situations.
You had a little bit more self-control than I would have had.
You can tell. You can tell, though, like the way Todd Golden talks, you can just tell he wants to just run through a wall right now to he's just pissed. Like, he's like, come on, are you kidding me? Like, yeah.
And then to slide in, that was just one of 2 or 3 questionable calls. Translation, Golden says refs missed some big time calls that would have impacted a 1-score game. It's not the whole story, but it is a part of it. I thought Rubin's defense in the second half was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Really shut off Boozer's kind of brute right hand force, just gets to his left shoulder right hand. I thought Rubin was doing a great job at that. Boogie and Klabchar, that's the 2 for me. That is the 2. I know Xavier Lee was brought in to be the point guard. I know he had a lot of hype around him. We were very high on him. He was a Princeton all-time assist leader. He's only 6'4", but he's got a defensive rebounding percentage up there near 20. He does a little bit of everything. Not working out right now. Irby, Boogie, that's the 2. That is the 2 you need to have. I thought Boogie played a great second half. Obviously the play there at the end, dribbling the turnover. You hate to see it after he hits that 3, but we said in the preview, picking Duke to win, but I also don't think this team is Duke from last year. They're not world beaters. Outside of Cam Boozer, it's not. He doesn't have the supporting cast that Cooper Flagg had last year. It's a little bit more of a vulnerable Duke team if you shut down Boozer, which is near impossible. But I'm feeling confident with Florida moving on from this. I like what I saw.
Yeah, I think it was an encouraging performance overall. I mean, you don't want to be sitting here at 5-3, but I think, like we said, that the biggest story to me was not whether Florida was going to win this game. It was really how they were going to play. And I do, other than just the obvious, whether it's Lee, which the percentages still you just look up and are like, how did we get here? Or the fact that for all these other teams we talk about that are playing 9, 10, 11, even 12 in one particular SEC team's case that we'll get to in a minute. I mean, they are pretty much settled, and their rotation is, Max, about as clear as can be right now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's not good because it just seems like they don't have a lot of other options, and you've got some guys who are struggling. That consistency can be a little bit iffy at times. But I think if we look back on this in 2 months and we're like, hey, Florida's turned it around, this is the kind of game, even though you lose, I think this is the kind of game you can at least take a lot of positive things out of and say, all right, we learned something from that game, that we understood that these are the things that have to be fixed and we have to do things differently. And I know we can talk about the referee stuff and all that in terms of the frustration with the calls. Completely understand. But I think in the grand scheme of things, this is not going to be a bad loss by any means. And yeah, I don't know. They're better coming out of it than they were going into it, and I think that's probably all you could ask for.
Yeah, Tommy H is up to 7th overall in the Ken Pom Player of the Year rankings. He's been just absolutely outstanding. But Blake, it's 2 things for me with this Florida team. It's defending without fouling, and it's turnovers offensively. The 3-point shooting is what it is. you're going to get what you get from Irby Klabchar. Maybe Boogie's going to hit a few shots. You'll have what you get from Tommy H., but it's not a good three-point shooting team. It's not.
No, they're not just going to flip a switch and be a 35% three-point shooting team. They're shooting 27% right now. I don't know how much better it gets, to be honest with you. So
maybe they get hot and it ends up somewhere in the low 30s. But it's not going to get to last year's 35.6% on top 100, top 75 volume. So right now it's just not going to work. So the two things that you can fix: defending without fouling and taking care of the ball offensively. Those are the two things that I think they can clean up. And if they clean those up enough, Florida's not going to go anywhere. They're going to be a top 15, all year round. The constants are going to, the rebounding is going to be there. The offensive rebounding is going to be top 5, top 10. The defensive rebounding is going to be there. The 3-point defense is going to be fantastic. It's a huge team still. You got to defend without fouling, and you got to take care of the ball.
Somebody's asking how did Duke get the back-to-back home games? I have no idea, but I'm going to assume there's somebody else I feel like has done that too. So I don't know. I mean, this challenge started in 23. I don't know if it's just a matter of rotations. And again, let's call it what it is. This thing is made for TV. Like, it's not just made for like whoever gives you the best combination of games and high-profile spots. There may be teams that get back-to-back home games. That's just how it's going to fall. And if Duke gets another home game next year, it's because whatever the high-profile matchup is because they're in that spot. So, but I don't quiz me on who played at home last year, who played at home in 2023. I don't remember that off the top of my head. So, not sure. All right.
Well, you got a week. You got a week off for Gators, and then it's UConn in New York. So, got a week to clean things up.
Yeah, wild to think they could be 5-4.
They're expected to be 5-4 right now.
They're expected to be 5-4. So, but plenty of time to make up for it. I mean, listen, plenty of time to make up for it because the SEC isn't very good. So, hey, you can go win a lot of games in conference play and be fine, I think. So, yeah. All right. Let's continue on as we go to the next one. And let's just go ahead and talk about the Cats.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Oh, man.
Kentucky, North Carolina, the other high-profile game of the evening. And it was North Carolina 67, Kentucky 64. Kentucky went, what was the final tally? The drought. What was it?
The scoring drought?
Yeah, what was it, like 10? 10 something?
It was like from like 13 minutes. They had the graphic up on it. It was the Owe layup broke it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the official time here because it's important. It was the past 8 seasons they've not had a drought like that. When I search for Kentucky drought on Twitter, I'm getting actual like precipitation droughts. Well, there were some precipitation droughts at Rupp Arena last night. So, yeah, what was it? Jeff Borzello, Kentucky's current streak of 13 missed shots in a row is the longest drought in a game in the last 8 seasons. They didn't. Yeah, they hadn't made a shot in 10 minutes or whatever. Or 11 minutes, maybe is what it wound up being. So, where do you want to start? Like I said, the biggest talking point coming out of this game for me was going to be, it's one thing if you lose games away from home. When you start losing games at home, the crowd is going to turn. And they turned. They've turned on social media. They were booing after the game last night. We understand, and let's make it very clear. People will want to ignore this. You can't ignore it. Kentucky is playing without key players. Mm-hmm. It's a fact. It's not an opinion, it's a fact. They're playing without key players. At the same time, you spent a lot of money on this roster, and it's a home game that you are favored to win by 5+ points, and you lose. And it's North Carolina. It's a rival. And now you're sitting here at 5-3, staring down the Zags on Friday in a game that, I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler, I'm probably not going to pick Kentucky to win. And then you still got Indiana, you still got St. John's, and you open SEC play at what may be the best team in the SEC in Alabama. So, yeah, it's just, I know they're missing key pieces, Max, but some of this I think is now starting to be, I hate to say this, like it's coaching at times where I just think they're not pushing the right buttons and they're not adjusting the way they need to adjust, even without key players on the floor.
Yeah, definitely the biggest disappointment of the season, I would say. Haven't shown up once yet. It was the Louisville game, Michigan State, and now North Carolina, 0 for 3 in the big ones. But let's hear from the coach himself. This is gonna be 2 questions too. It's about a 2-minute clip here.
Mark, you've talked about the offensive rebounds that UNC got. Was there anything they were doing, I guess, in particular that kind of helped them excel on that?
Well, our ball screen coverage was not great. It was poor. Our pickup point was way too high. We were a little too passive and rarely at the point of the screen, and so we're a little bit overzealous and overconfident in our belief in what we can actually accomplish defensively. We're putting ourselves in harm's way. That resulted in a lot of rotation stuff with some rebounding, and then just the size also. We had a lot of times where we put a body on a body and just rested in that space instead of getting a second hit. The second hit is so important. We did a poor job there. Surprisingly, like I said, we've been a really good defensive rebounding team.
Coach, you guys, they talked about a little bit of the scoring droughts, but what do you have to do differently in a 10-minute drought like you guys had tonight without a bucket?
Yeah.
What has to happen to break that, to get the lid off? And then you talked about needing playmaking. How much are some of those guys that are injured going to help when they get back with that on the second part?
Well, so yes, there's several things that can help you. One, pace of the game can really help you. 2, like having a couple guys, places where you can go that you really trust to go find you a basket. 3, just simple things like catching the ball with 2 hands. It's really hard. You have a wide open layup under the basket and you just drop the ball out of bounds. There's some inconceivable things that just happen because of the flow of the game. So I wish it was one thing that you do, but it's just a grouping of things where we just need to get better and get more solid, and we got to find a balance between me meddling with the game and the guys feeling the game. But all that's part of it. It's a struggle for us right now that is all on the foundation of this MP4T vibe.
So, I did not love that. I'll be honest. And let me start by this. Let me start by saying this. You guys know me. I'm a passionate guy. I like to live with passion. Big Blue Nation is a passionate fan base. I feel bad for you guys right now. I do. That answer there to what do we have to do to fix droughts? His answers were pace. I don't have guys I trust to go to with the ball. Catch the ball with 2 hands. And then like a little bit of we got to get better. That was a big nothing. How do we fix offensive scoring droughts? Nothing. I got nothing for you. No answer. I don't know. That was the answer I had there. If you have another panic button you didn't smash already, go grab that one.
Dickie V's, he's on the call here, right? And I can sum up what do you do to fix that with one of these. And I think Holly mentioned in the chat a minute ago, get a TO, baby. Just call a timeout and see if there's something we can do different here. But some coaches do not go that route, and that's just, hey, it's their thing. You're just watching this team just clang. And let me just say this too. And I saw a lot of this on social media last night and tonight, or this morning. This big revelation out there from people that, in hindsight, we should have realized Kentucky wasn't going to be a great shooting team. Where have you been? We've been talking about this for 5 months, 6 months now. Like, this was never going to be a great shooting team. And then what was it? I feel like there was one of those performances where I remember writing the column, and I'm like, Kentucky stinks as a shooting team. They're terrible. And I think it's after game 1. They go 7 of 27 against Nichols. Now they come back and make 11 of 28 against Valpo, and it's like, well, come on. You were wrong. Of course they're a great shooting team. And they made 12 at Louisville, part of that desperation. Shot some nice percentages. Whatever, Max. But guess what? I don't care how good of a shooting team you are against teams you're supposed to beat by 30 plus. I care about how good of a shooting team you are in games that matter. And so far, yes, I know they went 12 of 34 against Louisville, but part of that was just simply you're chasing because you're down 20, 7 of 30 against Michigan State, 1 of 13 against North Carolina. They attempted 13 threes. 13 for a coach that wants 30. They made 1.
They don't, and it's not gonna get better. I mean, it maybe will, you'll have a hot night here or there, but consistently it's not going to be there. But the reason why we weren't worried in the offseason was because you brought in Mo Diabate, who was 12th in the SEC last year in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. He was 12th. You brought in Jalen Lowe, who was 8th last year in the SEC in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. You got Otega Owe, who was 10th last year in the SEC in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. You got all these guys that are so uber aggressive, get to the free throw line, put pressure on the rim. Hasn't been there because there's no spacing, and Lowe is out, Mo D is out. So when you take that into consideration, the team can't shoot, but they're going to be elite at getting to the rim. Well, take out their 2 most aggressive guys that get into the rim they brought in the portal, and now you're left with a team that can't shoot and is missing the guys that are supposed to get to the free throw line. So that's a big problem. But the biggest problem, I think, is 20 offensive rebounds for North Carolina. I mean, that's an effort thing. I mean, yes, North Carolina has Visar and Stevenson and Wilson. They've got some size, but so do you. Moreno's 7 foot, Garrison 6'10, Cam Williams 6'8, Yelovich 6'11. 50%, almost 50%, 47.6% of misses were grabbed by North Carolina. None of that is going to cut it. None of it.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I just think the shooting's going to be something to watch because, like I said, they've been fine in games that have really not mattered. But in the ones that have, especially in the 2 games that feel like the 2 biggest disappointing losses in Michigan State and North Carolina, they have just not been a team that feels like they are going to be able to hit shots. And that's where when you get into the SEC, you got, more length on the perimeter than you're going to have playing teams like Valpo and Eastern Illinois and Tennessee Tech and all those. And I just think I got big questions if these scoring droughts are going to continue. But at the same time, Low, like Quaintance, like all these guys, when they come back, yes, it's going to be different. And by the way, Dougie, we love you. A nice member here at the channel. We appreciate it. We are well aware that there are a lot of games still left to be played. And yes, we have been called dumb as hell before. But I think it's okay to criticize the team who is sitting here right now at 5-3, is going to play Gonzaga on Friday. They're going to play Indiana next Saturday, and then they've got St. John's the following Saturday. Right now, Kentucky's best win through 8 games is Valpo. Like, that's a problem. I think we can all admit it's a problem. They have plenty of time to get better. Of course they do. And once they get some of these key pieces back, it will get better. How much better, I think, remains to be seen. And I also think how much better depends on your confidence in your coach. And I think the confidence in the coach is gone backwards very quickly. Fair or unfair. But that's what happens when you're the Kentucky basketball coach. You're expected to win the big games. So far, Kentucky is 0-3, and they just lost a home game. And that's what I said, Max. That's where things start to turn. When you start losing home games, people get pissed. And so that's not a good development. For Mark Pope, it's not a good development for Kentucky. And they have an opportunity to come out and turn the tide on Friday. But it is not going to be easy because you've got an angry Gonzaga team who's had basically, 10 days off or whatever it is, coming off a 40-point loss to Michigan. They feel like they're in must-win mode too. So, I don't know. We're going to find out, guys. We're going to find out. That's all I'm saying.
To just put it in a little bit of perspective, they were preseason number 4 on KenPom. And right now, when you go to Torvik and you take out all the preseason data, I believe they were 4-3 preseason on Torvik as well. But they're 19th right now when you take out the preseason data. So it's not like we're talking about a team that was preseason number 1, and right now they're like 40th and they're on the bubble. It's just that this team is the most expensive roster in college basketball. And yes, they have injuries, but the most expensive roster in college basketball. And the preseason expectations were pretty much like championship game, Final Four, or major disappointment. And right now, the numbers that the analytics are spitting out are more like a 5 seed. You might get to Sweet 16. Get some guys healthy, you might get to the Elite 8. But that's the kind of, just to reframe it. It's a disappointment when you're coming into the season with Final Four, and a month in, you don't have a single top 150 win in the analytics. And it's just last night, how in some of these early, November non-conference games, we're in December now, but you hear the commentators go, this feels like an Elite 8 game. This feels like a Final Four game. So cliche when it's just a high competitive game. Last night felt like a second round game, maybe a Sweet 16 game. Didn't feel like a Final Four game. So that's kind of just the reframe right there. Just put it into a different perspective.
All right. Deep right here is going to put it in a different perspective too. Says we're still top 15 in KenPom rankings. You guys are overreacting. We'll be a top 4 seed in the tournament. We just need our players to get healthy. Y'all are some haters. I still have hope in Pope. Now, I like the last sentence there. Hope in Pope. I think that should be a t-shirt. But I also want to point out that KenPom rankings are not the end-all be-all. So, maybe you will be a top 4 seed in the tournament. But here's what I think. If you don't beat Gonzaga, Indiana, or St. John's, I don't think you're going to be a top 4 seed in the tournament. We are pointing out that these are crucial games now because they've gone 0-3 in the first 3. These are crucial games. Yes, exactly as Sam says. Southeastern 16, noted SEC haters here at the channel. KenPom does not decide the NCAA tournament. KenPom does not decide job security. All those things. I don't think it's an overreaction at all. We can agree to disagree on that. But they do have time to figure it out. That we can agree on. And once they get key players back, I think they will figure some of this out. All of this can't be corrected, in my opinion. I think some of it's just your roster's your roster. But we'll see. Plenty of time.
I don't think any Cats fans that have watched this team play through 8 games will say, there's not 14 teams better than us in the nation. We're one of the best 15 in the nation. You can't deny it. I wouldn't even rank them in the top 25 right now. They haven't beaten a single team. You think there's a top 15 team right now? I don't. If you do, I don't know what you're looking at.
We'll see. All right. 0 for 2 so far. By the way, shout out to Tammy in the chat. Says people from other fan bases criticized this show yesterday for picking SEC teams to win. We did pick a lot of SEC teams to win. What they don't know is Blake and Max don't always pick the SEC teams to win. Anyway, the comments were very rude. Well, we appreciate you, Tammy. We'll also say that the SEC was favored in how many games yesterday? Quite a few. And, it didn't turn out so well for the SEC. So, I wouldn't just blame us for picking the SEC. Are we some homers? Of course we are. Are you kidding me? But we will also pick other teams. We didn't do it in Tennessee, Syracuse, though.
Oh man.
Boy, we're gonna have to speed up a little bit here. This is like this show may go 4 hours.
Let's do
dissecting these teams right now.
Let's do it.
Tennessee loses too, folks. The Vols, who are also a favorite. Let's not forget that. 62-60. Syracuse, the Orange, said we got better Orange today, and that's what happened. Jalen Carey was a very nice development, I thought, Max. we talked about him, kind of been curious about his role on this team. What's it going to look like long term? Well, he was dominant in this game. 22 points, 9 rebounds, just dominated the paint. Now, I know so they were picking on him for the last second shot there where he took the extra dribble, and he probably didn't need the extra dribble, but that's okay. You know what? Hey, they're not even in the game if this guy doesn't play the type of game that he played yesterday. Another development, no JP Estrella. We probably should have known that. We may have changed our picks, and that maybe explained the spread a little bit. Nate Ament did not have a good game. Went 2 of 10 from the floor. Had 7 turnovers. Jacoby Gillespie goes 5 of 12. Didn't hit a 3. Did have 7 assists. Tennessee went 4 of 13 from 3. Nobody in the SEC can shoot. I'm just kidding. We know there's some good shooting teams. But last night there were not. Disappointing loss for Tennessee. I don't know if anyone wants us to talk this one up pretty, let us know, but we're not going to do it. It's a disappointing loss for Tennessee.
Yeah. This team needs JP Estrella bad for the offense. Bad. Just because, Felix is good at what he does. The rim protection, rebounding, everything, a good 20 minutes a game. But offensively, JP just brings another level. And you could, when Gillespie is not hitting his threes, this team's going to look rough. It is. Since you missed on Isaac McNeely, you missed on Rodney Rice, you didn't get that star 2-guard next to Gillespie. It's been a rotating door of Amari Abram, Bishop Oswell. You throw in a little bit of Ethan Berg in there. Amari Evans has been getting some minutes, a little bit more on the wing though, but still, it's been a rotating door. And so when Gillespie's not hitting his threes, it's kind of just like, okay, did Amari Abram hit a few? Did Nate Ament hit a few? Because other than that, it's tough sledding on the perimeter for the Tennessee offense. Now, this is no excuse because Syracuse didn't have their best player. Donnie Freeman is lights out around the rim, one of the best rebounders in the country. If you look at Donnie Freeman's rebounding numbers, last year he was up above like 30% defensive rebounding. He's a monster. So you didn't have Estrella, but Syracuse didn't have Donnie Freeman. Disappointing result. And it's disappointing, Blake, because of how it happened. 30% from 3, offense is in a slog. Credit the Syracuse defense. Will Kyle's a beast down low, and they've got some cats that can really guard with Starling and Sadiq White at 6'9" and stuff. So they're credit Syracuse. I think they might be a tournament team, but the way it happened, Blake, disappointing with that offense.
Yeah, I just how it feels like years ago that they beat Houston, and we're all just like, hey, all right, great. And that's the difference between basketball and football, where it's like we got a lot of games, even if you get in one of these little ruts, which I guess you could say that about, but these also are 2 games, I guess, for Tennessee. Kansas 81-76, Syracuse 62-60. And Big Gator EJ brought up a good point. We're kind of having fun with this a little bit because what else do we have at this point? The SEC's just gotten walloped on night 1. But there is a very thin line between the record, right? You're talking about 1-possession games here.
Yeah.
Florida, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Tennessee, Syracuse. And this is why we go back to last year, and I think why we've said it so many times, where it's like the law of averages. It's just sometimes that's going to revert the other way. The SEC probably got a few lucky bounces last year, allowed them to go 14-2. They've not gotten the bounces through one night of the challenge this year. It's gone the other way. Where the other teams, and we'll get to another game in a minute. There are 2 other games that are exactly the same. But I don't want to overreact, but at the same time, hey guys, don't blame us for holding the SEC to a standard when it went 14-2 in this challenge last year and got 14 teams into the NCAA tournament. Of course we're going to hold the SEC to a standard because it was clearly the best basketball conference in the country last year. So the problem is it's not last year anymore. And so when you see teams start to lose games like this, you're thinking, all right, we're looking ahead and thinking, NCAA tournament. Do these teams have what it takes to make a run? And I think clearly, to me, still, Tennessee, I think, can make a run. They have some things to fix. Florida can make a run. They have some things to fix. Kentucky can make a run. they have some things to fix. But, Max, this is where it's different than last year. You have teams that have way more glaring weaknesses and have had a lot more trouble finding chemistry and putting it together early on than we did last season at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to sit here and try to paint a pretty picture as though everything is fine. Everything's not fine with some of these teams right now. And I think for Tennessee, you're going to be disappointed after beating Houston and now having back-to-back frustrating losses to a Kansas team without its best player, and then going on the road and losing to a Syracuse team that, yes, is improved, but still just came off a 31-point loss to Iowa State. So I think it's okay to be frustrated.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. 5 of 21 for Nate Ament. That is what he is from 2-point range in his last 3 games. And I narrow it down to the last 3 games because those are the only top 100 teams Tennessee has played. 23.8% from 2-point range for 6'10" Nate Ament. That's got to triple. I'm not saying that's exaggerating, but that's got to get way better. Because if Nate Ament is not adding anything inside the arc other than tough, contested, spin, pull up, fadeaway, mid-range jumpers, the offense just turns into, can JP make a play? Can Jacoby make a play? No? Can we get an offensive rebound and then hopefully we catch the defense in rotation and we have an advantageous offensive possession there off the offensive rebound? That's the whole Tennessee offense right now. So it's pretty much look at the data. Consistent defense. It's going to be a great defense. The offense is going to be up and down. Kind of depends on, do they hit some shots early or not?
Yeah, coming up, as we said, for Tennessee, they got Illinois on Saturday. They got Louisville on the 16th.
All right.
So, I mean, I think they're going to win at least one of those. I do. I think Tennessee will. I have more confidence right now in Tennessee than some of the other teams that have bigger problems maybe to fix. I mean, because one of theirs too is, and kind of like, in a certain sense, Kentucky, right? If you just plug in one key player, it's a different team. And I think once they get Estrella on the floor consistently, they're clearly better. We've seen that. And so he's just been such a remarkable player so far this year. And so, yeah, we'll see though. Big stretch coming up for the Vols. But they got time to figure it out just like the other teams do. So, frustrating though.
Projected to win by 2 in Nashville against Illinois. Projected to win by 2 at home a week from yesterday, next Tuesday against Louisville. So you're probably going to have a 2 to 3 point spread for the next 2 games for the Vols. Both winnable, both easily losable as well. This could be the most important week of Tennessee's whole season when we end up looking back. It could either be the turning point where they responded after 2 poor outings against 2 really good teams, or it went in a direction not so good.
We'll find out, won't we? All right, let's do a little reset here before we get into the rest of the games. This is why we started early today, because I have a feeling we may go a little long because we got a lot to talk about. Before we get there, let's tell you quickly about our friends over at the Yearly Company, Nashville-based fine jewelry. I don't know if any of these games last night wanted you to buy some fine jewelry, except for maybe Mike White, because he said, I got a squad in Athens. We'll talk about them in a minute. But let's talk about the Yearly Company. Nashville-based fine jewelry, built on tradition, designed for meaning, or maybe it's the opposite. I don't remember. Sometimes I get it mixed up, but it's great. That's all I can tell you. And, of course, solid 14-karat gold, natural gemstones, backed by a lifetime guarantee. As you know, every Yearly Company bangle custom size. So knowing your size, the most important step before ordering, you can figure that out with their sizing kit, and you can get it 100% off. It's complimentary, free, whatever word you want to use. A lot of you using different F words maybe last night after these games. Free is the one we're going to use. Check it out. SC16 kit, SC16 kit over the Yearly Company. Get 100% off the sizing kit right now. Over at Rockform, you can get 25% off because, as you know, they have the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting, The one thing we did get right last night was our rock lock of the night,
Yep.
and we'll get to that one in a minute with the Aggies getting a win at Pitt. But you can get 25% off over there. Their cases, accessories, everything. SEC25, 25% off over at Rockform. And don't forget, you can become a member of this channel, this fine channel here at Southeastern 16. A bunch of SEC haters, a bunch of SEC homers.
Yep.
One day we're called one thing, one day we're called the next. It's all right. That's what we signed up for. Become a member, be a supporter, an MVP, or a legend. If you're an MVP or legend, you get bonus content. Each week we'll have our SEC, well, we call it an SEC mailbag, Max. Pretty much anything goes mailbag.
Yeah.
We'll have that coming up probably tomorrow, I think, is our plan for the week. Our next review show will be up soon with Sam Smith starring. And remember, if you are a legend, you don't have to be on the screen if you don't want to be. You can not be up on the screen. You can just pick a topic. You can appear on the screen and just do audio, or you can show us your face. It's totally up to you.
Sure.
You have the option as a legend because that is our highest tier. So become a member, and also the Super Chat streak, as of right now, does not continue. So don't forget.
Oh, no.
You got a little time. Super Chat streak needs to continue at some point. Okay, what's next? Let's just keep going on the negative train here, and then we'll turn things in the positive direction.
Turn things around late.
I mean, like I said, so many of these close games went against the SEC. This one was another. Virginia Tech, South Carolina. Virginia Tech 86, South Carolina 83 in overtime. I thought the Gamecocks had this game, but it felt like every single time Virginia Tech would make a big shot, South Carolina could not get a stop down the stretch. It's just so frustrating. As I'm watching this game, there were some offensive possessions you'd love to have back for South Carolina. What was it, the one at the end of regulation? Is that right? Where they didn't get a shot off? I don't know, man. This was a frustrating one, too. You talk about frustrating. This was probably one of the most frustrating of the bunch because I thought South Carolina had the game won. They had every opportunity, but Virginia Tech made big shots. South Carolina, as I said, just a couple defensive lapses there where you just didn't have either, a guy helping on a dribble, like just not great offense. Oh, this one stings for the Gamecocks.
Stings is a good way to put it. That last possession is just it's gonna haunt them. It's gonna haunt them. I mean, got a chance to win the game in regulation, and you don't even get a pass off. Not only a shot, you don't even get a pass off. It's like 14 dribbles between the legs, and then the buzzer sounds. What are we doing? You've been playing college basketball for like 8 years. Well, the reason it stings is because Virginia Tech didn't have Toby Lual, probably their best front court piece. You have Tyler Johnson foul out in only 24 minutes. You have Abdulas foul out late. This is handed to you. You have a Virginia Tech team who would they enter 76th in KenPom after getting crushed by 20 by VCU.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the more disappointing ones for me. Yeah, I know you don't have Studi, but given that last possession, given no Lual, given Tyler Johnson fouls out early and has a horrible game, I don't know how many more opportunities you're going to get like that. I mean, you got Clemson on the road, and then other than that, if you don't win that game, South Carolina is going to enter SEC play with their best win being in overtime at home against 213th Southern Miss.
Yeah. That's the problem, and that's what we said going into their non-conference. Like, yeah, we know they started 4-0 and all that, but we just said those were your just key games. Like, you needed at the very least to feel like you go 2-2 in these, and so far they're 0-3. And again, that's been the story for several SEC teams, and it's the same thing we've knocked some of these other teams for that don't have good wins, and so it's disappointing because that's a home game, right? I mean, it's a home game. It's one where, like we said, there were multiple games in this challenge that you felt like were one possession type games, and man, surely played out on night one that way. And the SEC just could not find a way, and this was another one. So yeah, I think this is pretty frustrating for South Carolina. I still think they're improved, though. Honestly, I think it's, is it a matter of, man, this team's just somehow got to get some positive mojo back? I don't know, but you look at the way they've lost some of these games, and I think that's where you're like, oh, are we going to look back? Let's say we missed the tournament. As of right now, they just don't have a resume to speak of. These are the kind of games that you're like, oh man, if only. And yeah, so chalk that one up as another one I think that's pretty frustrating for them. So, all right, we're going to move a little bit quicker here. So trust me, there may be comments saying, well, you guys spent more time on this and that. Hey, we knew this would be a long show, but we also have a football show coming up in like 10-ish minutes or so. I don't know how we're going to properly it's just, look, that's just the way it works sometimes.
The way it is.
That's the way it is, folks.
That'll be on ESPN too. That'll be on S16 too.
Yeah, maybe you have to go to the Ocho to watch that. We may have simultaneous live streams for what I know would be the first time ever on this channel. So, okay, let's we just want to get all the negative out of the way. Let's just do it. Miami 75, Ole Miss 66. If you want to know where things stand right now with Ole Miss,
yeah, this will do a great summary.
It looks like
this will be a great summary.
Hold on, I gotta find. You talk about the game for a second, and then I'll just leave out the part that we know we're gonna get to.
Well, we're gonna get to Chris Beard. Story of the game, first half, epitome of brutality. John Rothstein there. Second half, Ole Miss won the second half by 6, I think, and there was a lot. There was a bit different players on the court there from the first half and the second half. You saw a lot of guys that we haven't seen yet in extended minutes, and I don't think it was because Ole Miss was winning by too much or because he wanted to get these guys some minutes because of practice. It was more of the people out there on the court right now are getting yanked, and this is a statement here in the second half.
All right, so give me 1 second here. I sent a text to you, Max. What was it? I think 4 minutes left in the first half. And let me see if I can find exactly what I wrote to you. I don't know if I can read it word for word in a public setting, but I can find it here and see what I said. Okay. Boy, it was something. Where is it? Oh, I don't know where it's at. Oh, here we go. I said, you can tell he's done with the way they're playing right now because they have played 12 players in the first 16 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
And if you want to see visual evidence of that, let me try to pull this video up. For some reason, we're having issues here with this video, and I don't know why.
Should I try to get the video up?
You might have to because I'm having issues with it on this side right here. So see if you can bring it up.
Let me see if I can just get it right from Twitter.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, and we'll talk about what Chris Beard had to say here. But, yeah, it's 3 straight losses now for Ole Miss. 74-69 to Iowa, 75-74 to Utah, and now 75-66 to Miami. And they have to go to St. John's on Saturday. Here we go. All right, hold on. The volume's not working. We're having all kinds of issues this morning. Yeah. All right, so let me see if I can pull this up here. You guys know this is what happens sometimes on live shows. That we do the best we can. All right, hold on. Keep talking.
He's basically just talking about the reporter. You can't hear the reporter ask the question, but the reporter asked the question like about effort and just hard work. Like, how do you fix that? And AJ Storr goes to answer the question, and Chris Beard doesn't even. I've never seen this. I mean, Chris Beard doesn't even let him get a full answer off.
All right, see if we get some sound on this one.
How do you fix lack of effort? It seems pretty obvious, but like, is that something you can foster as teammates and stuff, or like, how do you develop that urgency? I suppose.
I mean, you can't really do too much.
Yeah, we can. We can play different players.
Yeah.
We can play different players. That's what we did in the second half, where we won the second half by 7 points. We can play different players. We can fix effort, and it will be fixed.
Woo!
Yeah. By the way, it's from Ben Garrett on Twitter.
Wow.
Which, yeah,
Wow.
Ben's had a fun week also. But, yeah, I mean, I think, again, you could have watched that game and just been, from the start, you could tell that he was – they were heading in that direction, where it's like, we're going to see who wants to play. And sometimes, hey, as a former high school coach, like I know you get there and you're just like, we're going to try everything. We're going to throw everybody we got out there and let's see who wants to play. And I feel like that's, as he said, they adjusted, that they made some adjustments to that and felt like they found a group there towards the end. But, I mean, again, Max, how often do you see a team in a game like that, where it's not like one where you're up by 40? He's just throwing guys out there saying, let's see. Let's just see who wants to play. Not great.
And this was a Miami team that didn't have their freshman, Dante Allen. It was his first game missed. He was averaging about 25 minutes a game. They didn't have Marcus Allen, transfer from Missouri. He was playing about 20 minutes a game, one of the better defensive rebounders on the team. And they're on the road playing their first true road game of Jai Lucas's head coaching career. And you get destroyed physically, effort, everything. Just, I mean, what? There was 17:42 left, and the score is 47-28. I don't know the answers. I don't think Coach Beard knows the answers. I don't think Coach Adams knows the answers. But at the same time, Blake, I mean, you recruited all these guys. You had a great NIL. This was probably the most money Ole Miss has ever had to build a basketball roster, and it's probably the worst one of Chris Beard's coaching career. How does that happen?
But you know what? Money doesn't buy chemistry. Money doesn't buy effort. And I'm telling you, and I'm not going to pin this just on Ole Miss, but Max, how many times have we said Ortega always questioning his own effort? And I mean, listen, it's a much deeper conversation of what money has done to the game. But guys, we'd be kidding ourselves, and you'd be totally naive to act like it doesn't play a role in this era. It absolutely does. And don't know if that's what's going on with Ole Miss. May just be a team in a funk. Sometimes that happens. But, you know, it's just there's so many unknown variables that it's never, no matter how much money you spend on a roster, there's no guarantee that it's going to work out. But just as with Ole Miss, as all the others, they're 8 games into the season. They got time to figure it out, but it is still disappointing to be looking up and feeling like right now you still got to build an NCAA tournament resume. We're trying to get teams in the tournament here, folks. And right now, I feel like by the game, we're losing teams that are falling from, hey, they're in, to, well, they may be on the bubble. But a lot of that will play out in SEC play. So plenty more time to come on that. I mean, look, Max, you want to tell you something? In the updated net rankings, I didn't realize this. Ole Miss is at 124.
Yeah.
In the updated net rankings, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6 teams that are sub 65 or lower. Missouri, Texas, A&M, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You got 3 teams that are sub 120 or lower. South Carolina, Ole Miss, Mississippi State.
Yep.
So it's okay to be concerned.
When you take out the preseason data for Torvik, Ole Miss right now is 82nd. 82nd. They're not anywhere close to a tournament team right now. They're just not. They got time to turn it around. But,
well, you say that. Speaking of bad scheduling, the Zags coming off a 40-point loss to Michigan. They're going to play Kentucky. St. John's coming off an 11-point loss to Auburn. They get 10 whatever days off. They're going to play Ole Miss at home on Saturday. Man, how did it fall this way? These scheduling things. Can we make some swaps to the schedule? All right. One more negative to get out of the way, and then we're going to finish with a positive. And we're going to definitely go over the hour mark, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
You know what? It is what it is. Notre Dame 76, Missouri 71. Could argue this is the most disappointing loss on the board.
Yeah.
For a Missouri team that we all kind of knew they were going to start 8-0 based on the schedule and the way things had kind of played out. We said, all right, yeah, they're going to be 8-0. Should happen. And then you get your first prove-it type game, which, in all honesty, like, it was, but what was the line on this game? We said it flipped. Notre Dame was favored when we started things. And then I think Missouri wound up being favored by the time we got to tip. Is that right?
It was floating back and forth.
Yeah. So, but they lose. And they were up at one point 12, I think.
12.
Yeah. I mean, so they're up 12, but then just completely hit a wall. And I think they only scored 6 points in the first 10 minutes of the second half or something like that. It was a combination of things. I don't even, where do you want to start? I just thought this was a very disappointing loss for Missouri too.
Yeah. And it's to add on to it, Notre Dame, their best player in the front court, Harrelson, the freshman, 5 fouls in 21 minutes. And those 2 fouls on back-to-back possessions, the little cheeky one on T.O. Barrett after the missed free throw, and then they turn it over, and then T.O. Barrett just kind of falls over under the basket. Could have called it, could have not called it, but a huge break goes Missouri's way with a lot of time left. 6'7", 220 freshman had 13 points in only 20 minutes, is out for the rest of the game. And you're like, okay, this was the break. Here comes Missouri, and then they lose from there on out. Now, Cole Serta hit some huge threes. Logan Imes hit a huge 3. There was some big-time shot-making by Notre Dame down the stretch. But still, it seems like Sebastian Mack is a non-factor now in big games. Only 7 minutes, adds nothing offensively. No assists, 1 turnover. Doesn't play basically the whole second half. No Trent Burns. No Trent Pierce still. Anthony Robinson hasn't scored double digits in 3 straight games, including South Carolina State and Cleveland State. There's some reason to be concerned, I think, about Missouri, because this was really the only test they've had so far. Could call Minnesota a test, and could even say they didn't look good for the whole 40 minutes after the, great second half, but the first half was brutal. And now you got to play Kansas on a neutral. Could go into SEC play here without a single top 100 win.
Yeah, and I think it's like Jacob Cruz, the only guy who could knock down a shot from the perimeter.
Missing Jaden Stone.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's 10 of 24 on the year. I think that was the last number I saw from 3 is Stone. And Robinson's 11 of 28, which is not bad. Northweather's 11 of 20, but it's just like, I think it's very clear that Cruz is the guy that, he's going to have to hit shots, because if you have games like this, I don't know that you can count on that same type of consistent productions from the other guys, right? Because we talked about like Cruz. Just go down the line, like 4 of 10, 5 of 10, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 4 of 6. Like, and I had the one game went 0 of 5 against South Carolina State, but he's going to be a guy that you're going to count on a lot, and obviously hit some big shots, but yeah, like you can't have this game play out the way that it did. I think it's a tough road game, as we said, just as we talked about with these ACC teams. Like Notre Dame is improved, there's no question, but it still feels disappointing, right? Because like we said, this was a game where Missouri, looking at the schedule, you just don't have anything to lean on right now.
No.
And I'm going to keep saying that, because we can say we think teams are this and we think teams are that, but what a drastic difference in terms of resumes that have been built in this league so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there aren't many out there that have been built to a level that you're saying, hey, there's a league that's going to get X amount of teams in top 4 seeds. Right now, you're battling probably to have 3 teams in the top 4 seeds. And, again, and I know, and let me say this real quickly. I know we think that once you get to SEC play, that can all even out, but we also cannot forget that the reason why the SEC seeding was so good last year was because you had so many non-conference wins propping up your resume, in addition to the good wins in SEC play that were propped up by how good those teams were that you beat in non-conference play. So when you start looking at a Missouri as an example, like you said, if they don't beat Kansas on Sunday, Missouri, and they still have Illinois.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Missouri is not a great win for you because they don't have a great resume. And so that's why, like, I know, hey, you're rooting against your rivals and all this other stuff, but this is hurting other SEC teams by losing some of these games. Yeah. And so that's the tough part, man. It all equals out when you get to March, and these games matter. We can't say they don't. We know teams have a lot of work to do, but these games still matter. The NCAA Tournament Committee is looking at games like this. So it's okay to be frustrated.
No, they do. And when you look at Missouri's analytics, they started the season preseason 28th. They're 8-1. Right now they're 36th. They have moved backwards on the numbers. When you take out the preseason data on Bart Torvik, they're 53rd in the country, 44th offense, 111th defense. They don't have any like bedrock, like they've got the one win against blah blah blah. They got the one. There's nothing holding them up there right now. If you lose to Kansas, you lose to Illinois, you don't have a quad one win.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to? It only took us an hour. Are we all ready to get excited about the future of the conference?
Yes.
Because we're going to do that with these next two teams, okay? Georgia, 107, Florida State, 73. Oh, let's all just sit back and exhale. Let's just sit back and exhale for a minute and say thank you to the Dogs, because the Dogs took care of business to move to 8-1, just hammered. Ooh. Florida State, 107-73. I'm glad I changed that pick yesterday at the last second. My goodness, Max. Like, again, I go back to, like, if this summer you'd have told me we're looking up at Georgia right now, and they've got 4 games where they've scored 104 or more points, and one of those is a road game at Florida State. Hey, one of the fastest teams in the country. They are just... you watch these guys play. They are just playing at a pace right now, that I just love. It may not be as much as I love Ruben Dominguez, and we'll get to him in a second.
Oh, my gosh.
But I love this Georgia team. Love them. And, Robert, I know it took me a while. You were trying to get me on board last year. I struggled. I really did. But I am all in on the Dogs here. And what a victory for Mike White's team. They are an absolute machine right now when it comes to their offensive firepower. Incredible.
The rebounding, too, was just unbelievable. Just
smashing them.
Destroyed them on the board. This is a bully ball team, Blake. This is a bully. They play fast, but, man, they bully. I like it. Right when you need a break from 6'11", 260 Sompto, here comes in 6'8", 230 Kareem Stagg, 6'9", 250 Justin Abeson. Like, just the Dogs got some dogs down low. I like it. I picked Florida State to win this game. I was like, I don't really know. I'm gonna go with the home team. It's that was two different levels on the floor there last night. Right now, Mike White has Georgia 8th in the country in bench minutes. 8th in the country in bench minutes. We talked about all these teams having elite depth, this, that, the other. Georgia's depth is not going anywhere now. The depth played well in this game. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys come off the bench and get double-digit minutes in that overtime loss to Clemson. That's how this team's going to play. I don't think this rotation's really going to get me. Maybe a little bit, but this is going to be a team that probably plays 9 to 10 guys all year.
You know what this show needs right now? This is what we needed after 1 hour. You ready? I'm just on one today with the sound effects. Let's do it. The Dogs are barking.
Who let them out?
Who let the dog? I'll tell you who let them out. Mike White let the Dogs out because This man just says, let's go. So, it's incredible to watch them play. And, I mean, poor Florida State, man. You talk about we're trying to get away from the ACC. They're trying to get away from the SEC. They beat 95-59 to Texas A&M, 107-73 to Georgia, lost the game at Florida. So, yeah, Seminoles trying to stay away from the ACC or the SEC. Luckily, no more games currently scheduled against this team. So, Robert's taking his pants off. He heard the dogs barking. Yeah, Georgia, they're moving on up in the power rankings next week because they don't play again until December 13th. So, they're going to move up, and we'll see who moves down. But
And
incredible.
the craziest thing is that they're putting up these crazy point totals without shooting well.
Yeah.
Like if you they have been the past 2 games, but if you look at the whole season, that's their Achilles heel offensively. 264th nationally, shooting just under 31% as a team. That's their worst offensive data point, is their 3-point percentage. So if that comes up a little bit, you look at some of the guys here that's shooting below their season or their career percentages. Marcus Mellender's got room to improve. McCannon Catching's got room to improve. Jordan Ross has room to improve. Like, you could see this offense that right now is 23rd in the nation in offensive efficiency. You can make the argument that just given by this 3-point shooting numbers coming up a little bit, could be even better.
Yeah, I agree with that, Robert. I think, you're going to need to knock down some of those shots when you get teams that can match up better against you, which there will be plenty of those in the SEC. But see how that moves along there for the Dogs. But nonetheless, you'll take it right now.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Georgia, so far, Georgia easily the team I've swung and missed on the most this offseason. They have been way better than I expected them to be. So, good stuff on that. All right, Texas A&M. And we kind of had them in the sleeper category there for a bit.
Yeah.
We moved back on that after some poor early results, but I don't know. They may be reeling me back in now, Max, because they get an 81-73 win at Pitt, as we said, coming off that big win against Florida State themselves. Hey, my guy, Ruben, says, you know what? I might actually take a couple shots that aren't threes in this game, and he did, but he still went 4 of 8. Tremendous stuff. Yeah, man, what do you think about the Aggies? I think, again, they are, with Mbako back, it just gives them a little bit more versatility. He didn't have his best game here, but I think that it gives them someone else out there that is a threat, and the way you have to defend them, you maybe have to, unfortunately, give Ruben a few more shots. You're not trying to, because he's the greatest shooter on the planet right now. But, you've got other guys stepping up big time, and yeah, I mean, this rotation hasn't exactly gone the way we thought it would either, Max, and I think that's what's kind of been fascinating about Texas A&M is we locked in on that kind of starting 5, top 6 this summer. It hasn't looked anything like we expected it to. So,
yeah, I mean, Federico's kind of getting phased out of the rotation.
Yeah.
Pop Isaacs isn't really giving them too much.
Wild.
But you got Rylan Griffin back, and he had a decent game. Knocked down he only knocked down 1 3, but it was a big 3. Got to the free throw line and hit all of those. Ruben Dominguez. If you guys haven't watched Texas A&M, you're missing out on watching one of the most fun players to watch in the entire sport. 49% from 3. He's at 37 threes in 9 games. He's listed at 6'6". Looks like he's 6'9" out there. Like, I don't know if it's the wingspan or just what he looks massive out there. I think 6'6" is cutting it short. And then you can have Ruben Dominguez if you give me Rashawn Agee. If we can make that deal.
That's a deal.
Rashawn Agee right now is the front runner for Bully Ball Player of the Year.
I was going to say, I think he's probably an easy top 3 choice, but for him to be the front runner, I completely understand.
He is number 4 in the country right now in defensive rebounding percentage. He just played Florida State and Pittsburgh, grabbed 17 rebounds and 13 rebounds. 17 points, 21 points, back-to-back destruction, double-doubles, only 1 foul. He stays on the floor, rebounds the heck out of the ball. He can shoot it. I don't like you shooting out there with the bully ball committee. Watch yourself, Rashawn. I know you got the skill set, but we've got a brand to hold up here. But wow, you get this team healthy. This is one team, Blake, that I'm throwing out early November. They didn't have McKenzie. They didn't have the rotation set. This team can shoot, unlike a lot of teams, 38.1% as a team right now. That's top 40 in the nation. They got to clean some things up defensively, but I'm all in on the Aggies. I think Buckyball's got a fun squad here.
Can you imagine if AG was still on USC? My goodness.
With Ezra Ozar? Oh, that would be fun.
They would be. I mean, they wanted Oregon last night. I know Oregon's not, but yeah, still. They're 8-0 and Maui champs, and imagine him still on that roster. But good thing he's not. May say, see you later, the SEC. Rashawn AG says, I'm coming in for the Aggies. Got the Aggies rolling right now. Feeling pretty good about themselves, and I'm with you. I think we throw out some of those first couple just based on the roster and what was available. But, yeah, big game coming up on Sunday, though. SMU.
SMU's making its SEC round.
3 straight against the SEC here. They got the overtime win against Mississippi State. If you want our thoughts on the game tonight against Vanderbilt, check out yesterday's show. We made our predictions poorly for every game.
Yep.
Vanderbilt fans, be terrified of this game tonight. Treat this team like the best basketball team you've ever seen.
Yes.
Because you have to take this seriously now. There's a lot of pressure on the teams tonight. We'll get to that in a second. All right, let's finish up with last night. Oklahoma, and I thought the biggest surprise of the night, 86-68 at Wake Forest. That sort of came out of nowhere. Listen, we could have seen Oklahoma winning. We both picked Wake Forest. But 86-68?
Yeah.
Let me guess. You're all the way back in on the Sooners now, too.
Big time. And I'm going to act like I never got worried about them. I never topped off. I was with the Sooners all the way, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, the SEC needed something, and Porter Moser said, sit back and let me take care of business on the road here. That was the best. That was the best result for the SEC. Them and Georgia, obviously. But that's why when you look at like the KenPom rating for the whole conference, it hasn't gone back too much because Oklahoma jumps from 62nd to 47th, and Georgia was like somewhere mid-30s up to 21st. So just from Oklahoma and Georgia, they game the analytics because of jumping up so much. Hey, now that Marquette win by 1 point, now that makes this resume a lot more interesting. If you lost that Marquette game and then you go and win this one, it's like, okay, wow, they were in a desperate situation. Now at least they have got one win. But now you have Marquette, you've got Wake Forest. Now you're going to play a beatable Arizona State team who's not terrible, top 100 team that Mo Odom can fill it up. Saw what he did in the MTE. And then you've got another winnable game against Oklahoma State on a neutral in Oklahoma City. So this is an Oklahoma team who to finish out November, yikes, not even looking like a tournament team. But you put together 2 nice wins, you have a huge upset on the road, and now if you keep that momentum rolling, it's like, oh wait, I think this could be a tournament team here. They're sitting mid-40s in the analytics. They've got a few quad 1 wins on neutral floors. It looks like Darian Reed has found his groove. All right, we might be back.
Yeah. No, and you mentioned the crucial nature of the win. You said they still got Arizona State, Oklahoma State coming up, but they also still have like those 3 like sub 340 teams after that. And so that was a huge win against Wake Forest because that was, that will probably be the defining win of their non-conference resume. And, again, I think that's where you got to have something to lean on going into SEC play. And so, that they've got an interesting start to SEC play. We talk about some of the toughest schedules. I don't know that opening with Ole Miss at home, at Mississippi State, and at Texas A&M is the toughest start for Oklahoma. And so, they've got a chance. Then they get Florida at home, right? Who knows? They got Alabama at home after that.
Yeah.
So I think Oklahoma's first half of their SEC schedule is very doable based on the results we've seen to this point. So if they can keep this momentum going against Arizona State, Oklahoma State, let's say they win those games, they're not going to lose the next three. There's under no scenario should they lose the next three. Don't be surprised if Oklahoma maybe is one of the surprise. And I'm surprised I'm saying this, Max, because I was more down on them than you were. Maybe there's a little something to Max Barr's madness here because they could get off to a really good start in SEC play potentially. Only if they keep this thing going.
And they've done it the last 2 games, while Xavier Brown is a combined 0 of 10 from 3 in those 2 games. He has not been good, and he's going to. If you watch Xavier Brown at St. Joe's, he's going to find his stride. But it's been a little bit of Jeff Nwankwo at a good game against Marquette. Jaden Jones is off, finally back from injury. He's hit a 3 in the past 2 games. Darian Reed is knocking down some shots. He's hit 2 threes in 3 straight games. So it's been a little bit of the support, honestly. I thought Xavier Brown was going to be the catalyst of this team with Nigel Pack hitting his shots. I mean, Pack's been incredible from outside, but that's why it's encouraging. It's not like it's just Xavier Brown and Pack. Oh my gosh, these guys are shooting 45% from 3. There's no way this continues. It's been a little bit of the supporting cast that's won these past 2 games.
All right. There you have it. Night 1 in the books. We probably would not have went an hour and 20 minutes. But what a fascinating start to the ACC SEC Challenge. Coming up tonight, Arkansas hosts Louisville. We need that one, boys. We need that one big time. We need that one big time. We both picked Arkansas. What could go wrong? Alabama hosts Clemson. We need that one too. LSU at Boston College. Oh, the Jalen Reed news out for the year. Just a brutal blow for the Tigers, I think. And I hope it doesn't mean they lose this game tonight. That would be the worst loss of the challenge. LSU needs to win this game. But as we said, if you didn't see it yesterday, Jalen Reed out for the season. Not good. Vanderbilt hosts SMU. Need that one. Auburn hosts NC State. Oh, by the way, need that one.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's at Georgia Tech. Need that one too. And Texas hosts Virginia.
Is it 2.5? Mississippi State's favored by 2.5?
Here's the thing about tonight, and it was just like yesterday, all right? How many SEC teams were favored yesterday? Let's just quickly run through this. I want to get the stats right for everybody calling us SEC homers. Duke was favored against Florida. Tennessee was favored, 1. Kentucky was favored, 2. South Carolina, were they favored? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't think they were.
It was flipping back and forth.
Okay, we'll say that was close. Texas A&M was favored. Ole Miss was favored. Georgia was favored. Missouri, I think by game time, was favored. Wake Forest was favored against Oklahoma. So you had, 5 SEC teams that were favored last night? Tonight, you've got all but 1. Alabama's favored, LSU's favored, Vanderbilt's favored, Auburn's favored, Mississippi State's favored, Texas is favored. Louisville's favored against Arkansas.
Mississippi State's up to 3.5. Oh, good Lord.
I know. Not going to lie. The emotional hedge last night for me, Notre Dame and North Carolina, did some work over at FanDuel. But I don't want that to be the case. I'm fine losing my money and having the SEC win games. Trust me, I am much more okay with that. So I don't know who the emotional hedge will be tonight. It'll probably be Louisville. I hate to say it, Phil. It's probably going to be Louisville because we both picked Arkansas, and it just right now, if we don't pick against the SEC, something's going wrong. So I might bet on SMU too.
I'm nervous.
Just for
I'm
that.
nervous.
I am too. That's what I said. SMU is going to come back to get me. You know they are. I'm just kidding, Justin. It's going to be okay. Commodore's got to carry the league right now.
For Alabama. I don't know why.
Well, because we've seen this scenario set up before. 2 years ago, Clemson went in there and won. And I don't think this Clemson team, though, I don't know. I don't want to say it. So We may just have to stop making picks altogether. NC State Auburn. I'm telling you, don't look past that one either.
No.
Don't do it. Auburn, we're much higher on Auburn now, but don't look past that game.
And when
Virginia,
we did our
Texas.
picks, that was my rock lock. I was like, rock lock Auburn. I thought the line was going to be like 3. It's out at 7.5.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Guys, there is a scenario tonight where if the ACC wins a couple of these close ones, like Virginia, Texas, Georgia Tech, Mississippi State, Louisville, Arkansas, like I don't know. So
come on, guys. Come on. Come through. Come on. We need you.
Okay. You know what we need on the way out here? We need a new, by the way, Super Chat streak is broken. It's officially broken, but you know what? The SEC may be broken. It may be broken right now in basketball. We're going to fix it, okay?
Yes.
We're going to fix it. Let's know that. We're going to fix things. But I'll tell you what we've also fixed, Max Barr. And let me see if I've loaded up, because I actually think I may have forgot to do this. Because it's just been, I've been too frustrated by the SEC. We've got our new and improved credits video for our Legends members. If you want to become a legend here at Southeastern 16, you can do that. On the way out, we'll give you what is a bonus. You do get this as part of your membership. If you're a legend, you get your name in the end credits now for Southeastern 16. And we've even got a new tune created by the legend himself, Max Barr. A new tune. And I think the way the beat goes, it kind of fits with the dancing around of the end credits here. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But we'll get to it.
Okay.
Here as we look at it. Here are our end credits. We'll be back to wrap it up. But how about this one? Oh, yeah. I think that's better than the one we had before. Tremendous work. A nice beat to it. Thank you to all of our legends here at Southeastern 16. You saw the full list right there. You can become a legend hitting that join button. And the legend continues. The streak is not broken. Big Gator EJ, this may be the super chat right here. 199 super chat says unbreakable. This may be the new spirit of SEC basketball. Unbreakable. You may think you've gotten us now. You just wait. You wait till March. We're coming. All right.
I love it.
That's my pep talk for the day. We're out of here. I was going to say watch football. You probably still can, but I think they're almost done. They've been going for a half hour. This was one of our longer shows. We did not expect to go this long, but plenty to talk about. Appreciate you guys. We got more football stuff coming, more SEC basketball stuff, of course, as well. We appreciate you. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on your way out, turn on your notifications. We'll talk to you soon here at Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.